Hey guys, and welcome. One of the biggest bugbearers within God of War Ragnarok that is still completely unknown to us right now is the mask. The one thing that Odin was so obsessed with, and the one thing that, even though it was such a big part of the story, we know almost nothing about it. However, today, I wanted to almost kill two birds with one stone relating to the mask and Garm or Fenrir. A very interesting theory that I've been thinking about for a few days now, and it is starting to make a little bit more sense as I start to go deeper and deeper into it. But with God of War being a single player game, there's very limited content that I can produce on the game after I've covered everything relating to the story, other than the likes of New Game Plus that's coming out in spring 2023, but other than that, that's about it really. So do myself and Kratos a favour and do show us some love on this video by hitting that like button and subscribing to the channel as well. Look at this face. Do you really want to see this face in your dreams? Because I definitely don't, and if you don't like the video, if you don't subscribe to the channel if you enjoy, then you may very well see it in your dreams. But without further ado everyone, let's jump into the theory. So for those who are a little confused as to what I'm referring to here, let's backtrack ever so slightly and detail the events leading up to the release of Garm turning into Fenrir. Check the timestamps in the description down below and skip to whichever part of the video you'd like to, but I would recommend sitting through it just to get a bit of a refresher. With the game being out for around 3 months now, you can lose track of things and this will be a good refresher for you. So let's dive in. So Atreus goes to Asgard after Odin invited him there when they first met within the cabin back in Midgard. Odin wanted to make Atreus feel like it was a home, to make him feel like he could trust Odin, to give him access to things that he never really thought he would, and to try and manipulate him into trusting him throughout this entire process. And in doing so, Odin invites Atreus into his study and then subsequently takes him down to the basement, which is where we find this tear in reality. This knowledge crack, as Odin refers to it as, is something that could potentially give us answers to the creation of life itself. Odin found the first half of the mask as a younger god and subsequently stumbled across the crack too, which is why he built his cabin around it, and is potentially one of the reasons why we have the Great Asgardian Wall as well, to completely protect this secret. Odin wanted Atreus to translate an inscription on the side of one of the halves of the mask, and he pushed for him to go out and find the other existing two parts scattered across the realms, essentially getting Atreus to do his dirty work for him, almost manipulating Atreus, with Atreus thinking that if he does these deeds then Odin's going to trust him. But really, Odin was obviously Tyr, so he knew the crack anyway, so he was just getting him to do his dirty work here. So there were two parts that we needed to find. The first part was in Muspelheim, the first primordial realm, and the second ended up in Niflheim, the second primordial realm. However, initially, Atreus believed that the mask referred to Helheim, and this was affirmed even further when Atreus and Thrud went to Helheim with Heimdall, and the mask would glow as they would get closer to that area of the realm. In theory. However, when Atreus and Thrud ended up at that one section of Helheim, there was Garm, all chained up. Garm had the ability to create tears between different realms and cause havoc that we'd seen him do when he was released, and it was an absolute nightmare to fix and to essentially seal these tears. However, before Garm was chained up, the mask began glowing almost like it was behind Garm. However, when Garm was freed, they walked through the doorway and the mask just stopped glowing. Now I have a really cool theory that I want to throw at you guys, which could lead on to the mask being a huge part of the next story, and also Fenrir. So let's dive in. So what happened? Why did the mask lead them to that area of Helheim and also suddenly stop glowing when Garm was released? Well, I believe that the mask, one, could have taken Garm's soul. Once it was taken, it stopped glowing and it led them down the wrong path. Or the theory that I am really pushing towards here. Garm is the key, or was the key, which is now Fenrir, to this ascendant realm that everyone believes is behind this mask. And he's the only one that's able to open it. Hear me out here. Now, how and why is this the main question here? Why would the mask want to take the soul of Garm? And why would Garm be the one to open this tear to this ascendant realm? So let's start off with the first theory. This is why would the mask want to take Garm's soul? Look, ultimately the way that I'm approaching this theory here is that the mask will glow as and when it approaches or senses a part of itself close by. It does it all the time in the realms, and most importantly, when it's pointed directly at the knowledge crack, it starts to glow. The fact the mask mentioned Helheim, glows in Helheim, and even leads them to the Hellhound Garm, makes me even more suspicious that this mask has something to do with Garm or Fenrir now. I pondered a theory a while back stating that this mask is a way to look into an ascendant realm of some kind, with the particles from Athena's death in God of War 2 linking up a little too nicely with that of the mask, and even when we see Athena again in God of War 2018, the particles, green, are still there and exactly the same. We know the Santa Monica love to be very sneaky and subtle with their little hints and teasers here, but this for me links a little bit too nicely. I think that Fenrir or Garm will have something to do with the mask going forward. Potentially, they are the key to this gateway. Now this is theory number 2. Garm can tear his way through realms, right? And we'd seen that when he was released, he could tear away into where Sindri's house was from Helheim, sending all of the soldiers of the dead, or Hell soldiers, into that portion of where his house was, and they had to close these tears between the realms, as simple as that. So maybe that knowledge crack that Odin has in his basement isn't just a random crack at all, but maybe it's the exact same thing that Garm or Fenrir is able to create and do. It could even be the remnants of a tear between these realms that was never fully closed in the beginning, or it was closed on one side, which would be the side of the Ascendant realm, but not entirely on this side, which ended up being in Asgard. I think personally that Fenrir is the key to opening this Ascendant realm, and is ultimately the key to the mask. The realm that Athena, Thor, and many other gods of wisdoms across the different mythologies are all held. I think this mask was pointing towards Garm because he's the one that can create this crack, he's the one that can open it, and he is the final piece to the puzzle. That is the reason why the mask mentioned Helheim on there, but then also mentioned Niflheim and also Muspelheim, because all of those 3 realms are very, very key to opening the gateway into this Ascendant realm, or whatever's beyond the mask. I think this was an extremely subtle hint that was left to us by Santa Monica as to why it glowed when we reached Garm. I mean, it's the only possible explanation I can think of is that Garm or Fenrir now is the key to this gateway or door, or looking inside this crack or opening it further. Maybe Garm was initially the Hellhound that was set to protect this gateway, which is the reason why he's the only person to be able to open it and then subsequently close it. This would mean that in the next God of War game, Fenrir will play a massive part in opening and closing that gateway, and maybe we even travel back to Asgard after Ragnarok, if we can even do that. Or, if we don't do that, have Fenrir create an entirely new opening to that gateway, and that's where we step in, and maybe that's how we go to our next mythology. Or maybe that's how we see the likes of Athena, Thor, other ancient gods like the ancient gods of wisdom from Egypt, and things like that as well. I think it's a really interesting theory. I'd love to know your thoughts and opinions down below as to what you think about it. Pretty gas by it, to be fair. But that is my crazy theory. As usual, everyone, leave your thoughts and opinions down below, and also leave your theories down there as well. No matter how crazy they might be, I would absolutely love to have a read through them, and so would all of the others in the community as well, and we can have a big discussion about it. No matter how crazy they might be, leave them down below. But of course, that's going to be it for today's video, everyone. I really do appreciate you guys watching, and if you did enjoy, leave a like, it'd be very much appreciated. Subscribe if you guys are brand new to the channel as well, and without further ado, everyone, we'll see you all next time.